Hello, this is Jacob Aver. I'm back with my Journal Club 3 for my biomechanics class. So I just read our article, and basically what they did was had 13 trained male athletes. That would be 8 track and field athletes and 5 Olympic weightlifters. So they had them perform a power clean at 90% and at 120%. And basically they used different types of sets. It would be like 5 total reps. They did a traditional set group, which would be 5 continuous reps. They did a cluster set group, which would be 1 rep, 15 to 30 seconds rest, another rep up until they get to 5 reps clearly. Then undulating sets, which is where they change the load in between sets basically. So I imagine that would be 90% to 120% and back and forth. So basically what they're measuring here was the peak velocity, which is the bar speed, how fast the bar is traveling through space, and the peak displacement, which would be, I imagine this would be on the 120%, which would be how far the bar is breaking off the ground. So basically what they found was that the cluster sets provided more displacement and more velocity. And honestly, they said this, but I 100%, I knew it was going to be this, but the amount of rest time, 15 to 30 seconds, does not seem like a lot of time, but whenever you're talking about 90% to 120% of a lift, that is a world of difference, honestly. But one thing that I really was wondering, would the peak velocity or displacement, how would that alter when working with like the stance, moving inwards, say to have more loading into the quad? This is something that I actually this past week was working in with a deadlift. I noticed that whenever I'm deadlifting with my knees like at shoulder width, I start struggling at the top a little bit more. My bar speed is a little slower off the ground. And then a friend in the gym was like, hey, maybe you should like move in just 2 inches. And then my velocity just increased drastically. I had to take videos side by side and compare them. And I was like, man, just like that slight change really made a world of difference. So I was kind of wondering, would just the slight changes in stance really change the bar speed? Or some of the athletes, could they yield better results? Or is their form not really is their form not as good as it could be, basically? Which I'm sure the Olympic weightlifters have a little bit more technical form, just assuming. But I really enjoyed this article. Cluster sets is something that I've worked with plenty of times. Traditional sets, of course, I've worked with many times. Undulating, I've worked more with it from a week to week, not so much a set to set. But that's something maybe I'll have to try out on my own and kind of see if I like it or have any difference. But yeah, so I'm signing off. Thank you.